how to determine foreign exchange rate. It's simple. All the demand and supply causes what we have studied, it always take place in flexible rate system. In managed floating rate, we have already studied it's a combination of above two, and fixed exchange rate is determined by the government. The left one is flexible. The flexible rate system is totally dependent on market force, and market force means what? The nature of demand and supply for the foreign currency, foreign exchange, accordingly it will react. Now, as for the market force, how the foreign exchange rate determined? So, definition for determination of foreign exchange rate is, it is the point at which the quantity demand is equal to the quantity supply. Means it is also known as equilibrium rate of foreign exchange rate. I have already taught this type of concept we have studied in market equilibrium, if you remember. The similar concept here also, just assume, again dollar we will take as an example, just assume that we are having transaction with the dollar currency we want, and in an international market is a market, so when market will get equilibrium, when the total demand of the market and total supply of the market will become equal. Similarly here also, in the international market, the total quantity demanded of the currency is equal to the total quantity supply of the currency. That particular point will be known as foreign exchange rate for that day. So just to try to understand with the diagram, if we are going to make the diagram, it's a simple diagram as we have done for the market equilibrium. So here we will write, this is demand curve, you all know. And this is supply curve, that is also you have the idea. So where it is meeting means the intersection point, it is the rate which is known as equilibrium point. This rate will be known as equilibrium rate. So where the demand for, here demand we are taking of foreign exchange, where the demand for foreign exchange and supply for foreign exchange become equal. So at this point, if you see, demand and supply, quantity supply and quantity demanded, both are equal at this point. So this point will be known as at par point or equilibrium rate of foreign exchange rate. But what happened at this point, if you are going to check this point, you will find here when rate is high, or if you are going to check at this point, you will find when rate is low. What is happening in these rates? When rate is higher, if you will see, the supply curve is more than the demand curve. What is happening? Quantity supply is more than quantity demand. And if we are going to see the lower, when rate is lower, demand will be more than, means quantity demand is more than quantity supply. So this situation is known as excess supply, and this situation is known as excess demand. This concept you all have already studied in the last year in the class 11th. The simple concept it is excess supply and excess demand, and this is known as equilibrium rate of foreign exchange rate on that day. So suppose today in the market at a certain point total demand and total supply become equal. So that rate will be determined as a foreign exchange rate for that rate. Means 60 rupees if we have set. How 60 rupees we have set? The total demand of the foreign currency and total supply of the foreign currency met at rupees 60. That's why 60 has been determined as a foreign exchange rate. But if the condition is opposite, if the rate of exchange is more, there will be opposite scenario. Either there will be excess supply or excess demand. If there is excess supply, what happens to bring down to the equilibrium point? It push down the rate of foreign exchange. We have to push down our rate of foreign exchange. When we are going to push down the rate of foreign exchange, what happened? There will be extension in the demand curve. This is demand curve. You can see there is extension in the demand curve, and there will be contraction in the supply curve. It is from this quantity to this quantity, it is decreasing. So that create the decrease, any contraction in the supply curve. Are you able to understand? Okay, whenever there is excess supply, what happened? To bring back into the equilibrium situation, with the rate of exchange, it will push down the price of foreign. When the price will fall, there will be extension in demand. We all know when price fall, demand rises. So what happens when price will fall? There will be extension in demand curve and there will be contraction in supply curve. Both will fall together and reaches to the RE point. That will be equilibrium point for the foreign exchange rate. Similarly, when there is excess demand, what is happening? If the demand will be more, I have already told you, when people are ready to buy ready to give any prices, means they are ready to pay any money because they have a huge demand. When there is a huge demand, automatically it indirectly pressurizes on the price of the goods and services, and that being pulled up by the economy. So when there will be huge demand, there will be excess demand, the price will pull up. Yani here the price will rise from the R2 to R, and when price will rise, what will happen on demand curve? That will contract. And what will happen on supply curve? There will be extension. So both the demand contraction and the extension will go on till it reaches to the equilibrium point. So in this way, if we are going to see what happened in this scenario, whenever this condition apply, there is always appreciation in the domestic currency. When it will appreciate? When there is excess supply. When there is excess supply, the rate of foreign exchange will be appreciate, and when there is excess demand, the rate of foreign currency will be depreciate. So in that case, what happened? When there is appreciation, import will rise, and when there is depreciation, export will rise. Okay, you understood? So now we will see what are the causes for change in exchange rate. There will be two scenarios when there will be change in exchange rate, either in depreciation situation or in appreciation situation. So let's understand one by one how it happens. We all know depreciation of foreign exchange means what? Depreciation of currency refers to when the value of domestic currency decreases in terms of foreign currency. That is called depreciation. So here, if we see the exchange rate in the form of exchange rate, if you are going to see, I have already explained you when dollar value from 60, it became 65, that scenario will be known as depreciation. I hope you remember. Means what is the silent meaning of this depreciation? Means when the foreign exchange rate rises. When the foreign exchange rate rises, it means there will be depreciation of foreign currency. So what are the cause? The cause is either there is increase in demand or there is fall in supply. Two causes are there for the depreciation of foreign currency. Depreciation of domestic currency is either there is rise in demand of foreign currency or there is fall in supply of foreign currency. Just understand with the diagram. If suppose market demand is equal to like this, okay, this is demand curve, this is supply curve. Okay, now what is happening? If there is increase in demand, I told there are two causes. One is increase and second is decrease in supply. If there is increase in demand, demand curve will increase, meaning it will shift to D2, D1, D1. Okay, so there will be increase in demand curve. So now the new intersection will be at this point. It means the rate is increased. Simple. So what happened? If there is rise in the rate, means there is depreciation in the currency. So it happens due to rise in demand. And second scenario, it happens due to fall in supply. So again, I am determining the foreign exchange rate. It is determined. This is demand curve. This is supply curve. Now what is happening? When supply curve falls, see any supply of the foreign currency, if it is decreasing. So when supply foreign currency decreases, what is the movement of the curve? It will be upward movement. So here the supply curve I am drawing, that is S1 and S1. Now again the intersection point is this one. So here the R1 will be more. So again, if you are going to see in the both scenario what is happening, exchange rate is becoming high. So, and in depreciation of the currency, what we used to do? We used to do export. So here export will rise and import will fall. Okay. Export will rise and import will fall. Now, opposite scenario in appreciation. Appreciation of the currency means what? When the value of domestic currency increase in terms of foreign currency. That is called appreciation of currency. So what are the causes when it is appreciated? So again, the reason is when it is appreciated, when the demand for foreign currency falls and supply for foreign currency increase. We have already seen what are the sources when demand increase and decrease. So when demand decrease for foreign currency means we are not liking to buy goods. We just liking to sell our goods. In that case, what will happen? Demand will fall and supply will increase. So there will be appreciation. It means the foreign exchange rate is lower. The meaning of appreciation means what? The dollar value, earlier it was 60 rupees, now the dollar value is 55 rupees. It means there is appreciation in the Indian currency. So in this scenario, we are going to see with the diagram, we will have the same scenario. We are going to make it the two intersection point we will make. This is demand curve, this is supply curve, and if the demand curve is fall, means this is decreasing. In this case, if we are decreasing, we will write the curve will move toward the leftward side. The leftward side, if we are going to the intersection point, we are getting it is lower here. So rate of exchange will be from R to R1. What is happening? The rate of exchange is falling. Opposite scenario, if we are going to see in the case of supply, demand and supply curve, you will make it. This is demand curve, this is supply curve, and you are going to increase the supply curve. When supply curve increase, it is downward side. We used to write it. So here, what is the new intersection point you will find here? If you are going to see R1, means R1 is fall. There is rate is falling, but the quantity we are going to see, the quantity will be more. In the both scenario, if you are going to see the condition, what is happening? Appreciation means we would like to buy more from the foreign currency, foreign countries, and we will like to sell lesser. So here what is happening? Import is increasing and export is decreasing. In the same, every time what is happening? Quantity means demand is increasing for the what is called foreign currency, but the rate it is falling. So when demand increases, import happens, and when supply increases, what happens? Export happens. So now we will understand what is the meaning of foreign exchange market. Foreign exchange market refers to the market where the buying and selling of foreign exchange take place. It's not a place. It's a kind of transaction, it's kind of procedure where the buying and selling of foreign currency took place. That is called foreign exchange market. Means here all the countries, means countries, or we can say the individual firms, any central bank or any kind of international brokers, they involve in buying and selling of foreign currency. That is called foreign exchange market. So we have three type of functions under the foreign exchange market. First is known as transfer function. Transfer functions means it refers to the transferring the purchasing power between the nations. If we are giving the power to other people, means transferring of goods and services, kind of. Means our goods has been delivered to other countries and their goods are delivered to our country. Our services are being rendered to that countries and their services we are receiving. So this kind of purchasing power, if we are transferring to each other, that is called transfer function, which is take place in this type of market. And second function take place, that is called credit function. Credit function means through the any kind of credit transfer, through the bill of exchange or through the banking or through the any kind of credit tool. If we are going to give or take any credit, that also take place under foreign exchange market. One very important function is in this market, that is called hedging function. Hedging function means here in this type of transaction, buyers and seller both meet and do the contract in the same date for the future payment at the current exchange rate. Again, I am telling to you what is hedging function. Hedging function is those type of transaction when buyers and sellers are agreed to sell or buy their goods and services at the current exchange rate, but the payment will be done in future and that rate is mutually agreed rate. This happened just to avoid the variation in the exchange rate. Let's understand this concept with an example. Suppose right now the dollar value of $1 is equal to 45 rupees. It means if we are going to buy any commodity for rupees $1, we have to pay 45 rupees to them. So suppose we entered with the foreign countries as in an transaction, and that transaction I'm going to buy a machine, and machine cost me for $45, or we can say it's cost me for $100. Okay, it will be easy to calculate. $100. It means how much I have to pay in Indian rupee. If the machine is for $100, it means for $100 I have to pay 45 into 100 rupee. Is that clear? Are you able to understand? Now understand this scenario. What happens when I have to pay? This transaction took place today, that we entered into the contract that I am going to buy a machine. The payment I will do in future. That future may be after 2 months or after 3 months. Okay, and after 3 months what happened? The rate of exchange, which was 45 rupees, now it became $1 equal to 50 rupees. And we had a transaction at the same date when it was 45 rupees. So that time I had to pay 45 into 100. Now what is happening? I have to pay 50 into 100. So there will be loss of 3 rupees into 100 for me. So this loss, or there will be gain for the seller for around this rupees. So what is happening? Either one will be in the loss situation, one will be in the gain situation. To avoid these all variation, what happens? We do hedging at the time of transaction, at the time of contract, that if any kind of rate of exchange will change in future, we will be mutually agreed at certain rate, and that rate also determined at the time of transaction take place, at the time of contract take place. At the same time, we means the buyers and seller mutually agreed on variation date. If any variation rate, if there is any variation in the rate of foreign exchange rate, they will be agree together that okay, 45 if it is now, we will if there is any increase, so we will have up to 41, or if it is decrease, we will have up to 39 or some 45 or 44. Whatever the rate which is mutually agreed to between the buyers and seller, and accordingly they are paying in the future. So in that way, neither buyer will have any kind of losses and neither seller will have any kind of windfall gain. So this is known as hedging function. This transaction, these all three transactions take place in two types of market. Under foreign exchange market, means foreign exchange market are two types. One is spot market, second is forward market. Spot market are those market where the payment of the transaction of the goods and services take place at on the spot, means you just to purchase the good and immediately you have given the payments also. So that is called spot market, and the rate which we are paying at the same date at the same time, that is known as spot rate. Forward market, as a name, it's totally clear that forward market are the market where the transaction take place today but the payment done in the future date. It means today you have entered into the transaction but you are going to pay the payment after 2 months, 3 months or as per the contract. So that is known as forward market. It means in this type of market, payment is done in future. So the rate at which we are paying in the future, that is called forward rate. So overall, 5 topics we have studied today. I hope you understood. If there is any doubt, do tell. Thank you.